Hello. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. We're back. Not playing a game today. We're just gonna be hanging out today, shooting the breeze, talking about Nintendo Switch 2. It's official. They showed it off yesterday. We're gonna be taking a look at the trailer again. I might go more into depth. There's definitely things that I left out of the video that I made yesterday, where I did my first initial live reaction to the trailer, and just gave my first impressions based off of what I saw. But I watched it a bunch of other times, and I've noticed more things. Like, for one, I noticed that the wrist straps were shown. They were attached to the Joy-Cons when it was like showing off that mouse feature that the Joy-Cons have, where you can use it sort of like a mouse. I don't think you can actually use it as a mouse, like connected to your computer and use it as a mouse. I don't think you can do that, but I think there are some games that could require you or give you the option to put the controller down. Actually, I can actually use some Joy-Cons as like models, right? But there are going to be games where you can basically put the Joy-Cons down and then move them around kind of like a mouse, where you hold it like this, and you could probably move a character on screen. That might have to do with some motion games or something. I don't know. I'm very interested and intrigued to find out more about that and see how that's implemented. It is a shame they didn't really show anybody like playing the Switch 2 like they did with the Switch reveal, where they were showing it off. But of course, most of us can kind of put together what the Switch 2 is going to play like, because it's very similar to the Switch. When we first got the Nintendo Switch, it was new, and because of that, they really needed to show like a human in the trailer playing it, showing how it worked. This trailer was more so like them just showing the differences, right? It was very smart marketing that they started with the original Switch in the trailer and they transformed it. You kind of saw the evolution where the screen got bigger, the Joy-Cons got bigger, and it kind of showed off like what's different about it. And I think that's smart because they really want to set this apart from the regular Switch, so people don't get confused and they actually see this thing as its own new thing. And you can see that with the way they named it, where they played it safe, named it Nintendo Switch 2, so there's no confusion. Other companies like PlayStation do that, and it works for them. But more popular, right, and more mainstream or more casual, I would say, iPhones, right? iPhones do that all the time with their phones, right? We're up to iPhone 16, and I can see iPhone doing that forever. It's something that people are used to. So for Nintendo to go down this route and just call it Nintendo Switch 2, it's a smart play. They're doing everything smart. They're doing everything from the books, it looks like. They really want this thing to do well after the success of the Switch, right? They want that graph to just keep going up and not for it to tank and go the other direction. What's up, Amon? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good Friday. We made it to the weekend. It's an extended weekend for me, actually, because it's MLK weekend, so that's exciting. I'm going to be off for 3 days. I don't go back to work till Tuesday. So I'm planning on using some of the time this weekend to create some content. I do want to make some shorts on the Switch 2, kind of talk more about it a little bit. And I want to kind of dive more into like the Mario Kart game they showed, which we don't know what that game is. We don't know if that's Mario Kart 9. It probably is, but you know, some people might count Mario Kart Tour as a game, and some people say that's Mario Kart 9, and that this could be like Mario Kart 10 or Mario Kart X. Honestly, I would just want it to be called Mario Kart 9 because I don't really count Mario Kart Tour. That was a mobile game. I kind of count that as separate. And I think it'll be a little bit confusing if you kind of skip 9 and go straight to 10, where most people play Mario Kart is on the Switch, and they know that game as Mario Kart 8. So honestly, just call it Mario Kart 9. And then Mario Kart Tour could just be like its own separate side thing. But yeah, I'm going to just rewatch the trailer today and kind of just go more into it. I kind of was rushing a little bit. I mean, the video was 20 minutes yesterday, so I did kind of go back and talk through it. But even when I did that, I still missed stuff. And that's why this stream exists, because I want to kind of get all my initial thoughts out there, like unfiltered, unedited thoughts on the Switch 2. The design is definitely growing on me more. Like, I like the angle that it has. Actually, let's pull up a picture of it and take a look at it. I do have the trailer up as well, but what I'm gonna do is just kind of bring up images of it. We can even take a look at this article posted by PC Mag. Let's switch on over to it. Alright, so it says Nintendo Switch 2 officially confirmed everything you need to know. Nintendo's early morning announcements gives us a sneak peek at Switch 2. Here's what is confirmed, plus the rumors still swirling around the new console. So right off the bat, I just want to say that the leaks were completely real. I think it was like an accessory company or something that leaked it, because it was probably a company that had to make like a game case or like a protective sleeve or something, because they had like the shell of it, because you obviously need to know what the dimensions are of the Switch 2 to be able to make a product that would fit on it, right? And I think that's what was being shared around. The only video I watched was of Nintendo Life. The people at Nintendo Life, they did a reaction to it, and that was the only time I saw it. And this seems very much like it. I mean, this pretty much is it. But I will say, just based off the system itself, it's very clean. It's very like adult and muted, right? It's not super colorful. It doesn't look like something that's made for kids. It looks like something that's made for adults. I really like the way the dock looks. I didn't even realize that it was like curved like that initially. The Switch's dock is like a rectangle, and this is kind of going for more of a like a smoother curved edge design. Also, I am liking this gray, this like really dark gray that's almost kind of like a black. I mean, would you say that's black? I mean, that could be black, right? It's giving me slight gray vibes, but that could just be the lighting that's hitting it. I don't know, what would you say that this color is for the Nintendo Switch 2? Do you think it's like a dark gray, or do you think that's black? I want to say it's like a dark gray. But I'm looking at, yeah, it's not like super black, because this is like black. Like looking at the grip for the Joy-Cons right here, this is black. Actually, it might be, because it's actually no, it is like a dark gray, because if you look at the bezels right here, this is black, right? Black is that, and this is like a dark gray, or it's like close to black. Anyway, I do like it, and I don't know if there's going to be any other color options at launch, or if this is the only one that's going to be available at launch. Because if you remember back to the Nintendo Switch, there was two options available at launch. You could have gotten the gray Nintendo Switch that came with the gray Joy-Cons, or you could have gotten the red and blue neon Joy-Cons. So I'm curious to know if there's going to be another option at launch, or if this is going to be the only one. Nintendo is doing a direct in April 2nd. So I'm sure we'll find more about that at that point. But I also think that's when like pre-orders and stuff will probably go up, most likely after that direct. Oh, let's continue to cite. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could kind of consider this as the blue and red colorway for the Joy-Cons. and maybe we'll get other colors down the line. But yeah, it's like this inverse color where it's just around the stick and it's on the inside. So when you put it into the Switch, or if you put it on the grips, you can't even see the color because it disappears into the grip and into the Switch itself. And you're really only going to see the color around the sticks. So yeah, very muted. Alright, let's read the article. It's been a long time coming, but the Nintendo Switch's successor is finally revealed. Nintendo officially confirmed the Nintendo Switch 2 via a teaser trailer that reveals the hybrid console, a plan for the Nintendo Direct in April to give more details, and very little else. That leaves plenty we still don't know about the new console, and a sea of rumors to wade through. Here's what we know. Yeah, they're just gonna break down the stuff that's apparent. But like some of the major things that we don't know about are like the price point, right? How much are they going to be selling this thing for? I heard some rumors that they want to sell this thing for maybe like $400, which I think is kind of a lot, honestly. But it's definitely still competitive and cheaper than PlayStation, so I think they'll still be fine. I think $350 would be a good price point for this, but I have a feeling with the state of the economy and stuff, it'll probably be closer to $400. It probably will be $400, because I think the Switch OLED sold for $350, right? The regular Switch sold for $300, OLED $350. I definitely think the Switch 2, because of, you know, the more expensive parts and stuff that are in it, probably we're looking at $400. That's going to be my guess. And it's still fine. I think $400 is a fine price. Another thing we don't know about it is the release date. Do we think it could come out in the summer? I think summer's still too early if they're going to do a direct for it in April. Unless they're counting this as like the first official announcement of it, which I guess it is. But I still don't think like it could come out that fast, because April, I mean, I guess you got 2 months till June. Maybe it could come out June or July, but I don't know. I'm not used to like systems coming out in like the summer. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I would really like it if it actually came out in the summertime, just because I feel like there would be a time to just get more units out there before Christmas, right? I think the earlier you release it, the better. I mean, I was really hoping that we were just going to get it like spring of this year. I was hoping that they would have announced it last year in like September, and then we got it similarly to how we got the Switch, where it came out in March. I think that would have been great if they did that, because then you can kind of have initial shipments come out in the spring, then you can have another wave come in the summer, a wave in the fall, and then maybe a final wave like right before the holidays. So you give people plenty of time to get their hands on the Nintendo Switch 2 for Christmas, right? Because I think most of the hardcore Nintendo fanboys and stuff will just get it right away, the spring and summertime, and then people buying it for Christmas will get a chance in like the fall and the winter to get their hands on it. But I feel like it's going to be coming out later. It's going to be coming out September, October, which means there might be like 2 major shipments of this thing. I don't know how often shipments are sent. I just feel like they come in waves, right? Because I'm kind of thinking back to the Nintendo Switch. When it came out, there was that initial wave at launch, and then I feel like the wave after that was like in the summer, like May or June was like the next wave. Like it was March, and then like May or June was like the next wave, because then you just didn't see it in stores because it was completely sold out everywhere. Like every store was just waiting to get another shipment of it. So I want to say like every 2 months we might get a shipment, but then again, I don't know how it works. It might be every month. I just hope people can get their hands on this, and it isn't super hard to get your hands on, which it probably will be, like it is with every system. We probably won't see the Nintendo Switch 2 just sitting on a shelf at a store for like the first year, for sure, of its release. I don't know. I can't remember how long it took to find the Nintendo Switch in the store after release, but I'm pretty sure it was like almost 2 years of like going to the store and not seeing it on the shelf. I think it was at least 2 years. It could have been longer. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. But those are obviously two major things everybody's excited to learn about, is the price and the release date. All right, so what's the Switch 2's name? It's the Switch 2. That's now official, which means Nintendo avoids previous systems' confusing naming conventions like the Wii U and the new Nintendo 3DS. This is the sequel system, the first simply numbered one in Nintendo's history. Yeah, this is, again, a very smart move from Nintendo to just keep people in the know, to let casual people know that, hey, this is something different. This is the next version of something you already own. It's not just a different version of it, it's like a completely new thing. So your games that are on the first one, they will work on the Nintendo Switch 2, but the Switch 2's games are not going to work on your old Switch. So people are going to have motivation and a drive to buy this. And that's a whole nother topic, by the way, because I know there's some people that are upset about that because they didn't change much, and they're kind of just using this as a way for people to buy a new system just so they go play new games. What's the Nintendo Switch 2's release date? Nintendo confirmed that the Switch 2 will come out this year, with no firmer date than that. It probably won't be until early summer, since the system announcement already fulfills the company's earlier promise of unveiling the Switch 2 before the end of the current fiscal year, which ends in March. We won't get a closer look at the Switch 2 until the Nintendo Direct planned for April 2nd. That gives Nintendo time to build hype. Yeah, that's what I was talking about as well, that Nintendo is building up hype now. They're actually kind of have time to market this thing, I guess, but maybe not, because they can't really show it off. I mean, they're not planning on showing us more or telling us more until April. But the thing is, people know about it, and I guess they're just going to rely on us, content creators, to just talk about it and spread the word and get people hyped up in these next 2 months. I mean, it could be taking, they could be taking a page out of like Starbucks book. Like back in the day, I don't know if Starbucks does ads now. I think they do. But back in the day, Starbucks never did ads. You would never see any commercials for Starbucks because their method was writing your name on your cup and spelling it wrong, so that you would post a picture of it telling people, showing people, hey, Starbucks messed up my name. They did that on purpose so that you would spread it around, right? And it was free promotion for them. Nintendo could be doing something similar here, where because they announced it now in January, we could possibly see a summer release, possibly, right? Because they're kind of getting some marketing in by using YouTube and the content creators to do the work for them. And then after they talk about it in April, then we might get more, like they already kind of built up the hype. Now at that point, you might just be able to pre-order it, and then they only have to market the thing for maybe 2 more months and release it in like June. It could happen, and I actually would love it if that happened, because, you know, as a teacher, we get off in summer, so that would be perfect. I actually would love that now that I'm thinking about it, because I'll be done school. I mean, I obviously teach summer school, but that's not too bad. But it'll be nice. It'll be a nice way to de-stress, right? Done the school year, can relax, and play the Switch 2 during the summer. Hopefully, if I can get my hands on it, if it isn't that hard to get. And then it gives Nintendo a lot of time to put out more units so more people can buy it throughout the year leading up to Christmas. So for sure, I would be about that. I think it would actually be better, because then if I don't get one in the summer, I can always try when there's new shipments coming out and stuff, and I can kind of work to try to get one sometime in the first year, right? The 2025, this year, I could try to get one in that year if I can't get it at launch. Where if I feel like if it comes out in like September, October, it's definitely going to be a lot more sweatier and harder to get. It's just a lot more people are going to be after it. The Christmas rush is going to be after it as well. It's just going to be a tough situation to be in. But yeah, it's going to be like the Hunger Games. So let the odds ever be in your favor. Alright, so let's keep reading this. That gives Nintendo time to build hype, establish a launch library, and woo developers and publishers that aren't already working on Switch 2 games behind closed door. Before the announcement, 6 developers confirmed with Spanish fan site Nintendo that the Switch 2 will launch around June or July 2025. This timing aligns with the original Switch's announcement, October 2016, and launch March 2017. Yeah, so that was what, 7 months? Yeah, that was a 7-month from initial reveal to launch. Like July would be 7 months. Yeah, it could. There's a very good likelihood that we could see it in the summer, and I think that would actually be better than it coming out in the fall for sure, just because I feel like it'd be easier, less competition to try to get one. Will the Switch 2 replace the current Switch? Yes, it's the new Switch, and the most ambiguous sequel system in the company's history. Even the jump from NES to Super NES confused parents in the early 1990s. This time it's very clear that the Switch 2 replaces the Switch 1. This doesn't mean Nintendo will stop selling the original Switch. Generational upgrades like the Switch 2 often include a tail of at least a year, with the company selling the previous system. This was the case with the Switch, with the 3DS, and the Wii with the GameCube. Yeah, so Switch will still be out there. They'll still be selling them. You'll still see Switches on shelves for a year after the Nintendo Switch 2 is out. And we might even see a price drop at that point finally. I don't think the Nintendo Switch has ever gotten a price drop. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever gotten a price drop for the Switch. I think it still sells for $300. And I know they made the OLED version, which sells for $350. There might have been deals here and there where maybe the price was slightly dropped. I know you can definitely buy it off the aftermarket, like eBay and Facebook Marketplace, for less. Obviously, like buying it pre-owned, you can get it for less. But if you're trying to buy a new Nintendo Switch, like from a retailer store, I think it's still $300. I mean, we can look it up. Let's see. Nintendo Switch price. Oh, okay, so it is cheaper actually. They did drop the price. Well, I mean, Walmart maybe has a deal going on or something. This is Japanese edition. What is this? $239. I mean, right here, Nintendo's selling it for $300. I mean, their price is still the same since launch for this thing. And then the OLED is $350. So I guess there isn't a price drop unless some places just do sales. But I'm confused as to what this is. It says JP edition. I don't know. That just looks like a regular Switch to me. It comes with an extra thing too. But $240 is the price here. Interesting. Yeah, Walmart has it for $300. That comes with the Mario Kart 8 deal game, like a digital version of it. Amazon has it for $252. Okay, so yeah, some places you could get a Switch for slightly less, but we might see an even bigger discount possibly when the Switch 2 comes out. Most likely we will, because at that point Nintendo has already made all of the money they wanted to make with the Switch, right? And now at this point they just want to get it off shelves, clear up that shelf space for more Switch 2s when they eventually put them out there. Because Nintendo will eventually come to a point where they stop manufacturing Nintendo Switches, right? They won't be making any more, and then their focus will fully switch to the Nintendo Switch 2. And at that point, they're just going to want to get rid of it. So yeah, buy one if you don't have one, or actually no, wait if you don't have one and buy one when the Switch 2 comes out, because you could probably get it for cheaper. And price might actually go down, like Nintendo's price might go down to maybe 250, and then maybe some of these other places that are selling it for 250, 240 might go down to 200 for a new Switch, which would be awesome. You just gotta wait and see what that's gonna look like. Or who knows, maybe they'll keep the price where it's at if it's still selling, right? Like if it's still selling really well for the 300, like you might as well just keep it there. That's probably why Nintendo has never dropped the price of the Switch since it came out, because 300 was just such a good price, and it was a price people were willing to pay, and they're still paying that price today, with the price of everything else going up. So they could just keep it at 3 and then eventually just sell out by selling it at 300. The only reason I could see them dropping the price is they're trying to just move units faster. They just want to make that quick money, right? Like, so they could just fire sell it. All right, let's go back to the article. Will the Switch 2 keep the same hybrid design? Nintendo struck gold with Switch. Yeah, I talked about this in my initial reaction. It's a game console that can work at home in a dock or on the go with Joy-Cons attached to its sides, making it incredibly flexible. Returning to a solely home console or handheld game system would be baffling, though handheld or console only variants like the Nintendo Switch Lite aren't out of the question as alternative models. I didn't even think about that. We could possibly see a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, right? Which won't have the docking ability to play on like your TV, but it's just like a handheld version of just the Switch 2. That's interesting. I wonder if they would ever go down the route of just having a hybrid version, but then doing the dock only version, right? Like a version where you have to hook it up to the monitor, and that's the only way you can play it on the TV or monitor. Because that would basically be them kind of going back to traditional home consoles. I could see maybe that in the future, which wasn't a possibility. That they did make the Switch Lite, which was kind of like a dedicated handheld when you think about it, because you can't play it on the TV. But what if they take the Switch 2 and they do make a handheld version of it, and for some reason would also make just a home version of it? Obviously sell it for cheaper, because both of those are doing kind of like half the job of what the Switch 2 is. I feel like they probably wouldn't do that, but you never know with Nintendo, right? They always come up with stuff. Like if you're a person like me who never plays it in handheld mode and always plays it on a monitor, like it could be appealing to have a Switch 2 that you can just hook up to your TV or monitor, and that's the only way you can play it. And maybe you could save some money by getting it for cheaper than the hybrid version. I mean, people that love playing in handheld mode and never play on monitors and stuff, they have that option with the Switch, right? By getting a Switch Lite, you can always just play it on the go, and you never have to, or you can't put it on a TV, but they don't care because they don't want to put it on a TV, right? And the benefit is that it's like $100 cheaper. So it'd be cool if they provided that option to people that are like home console people that always play on TV and monitors. I mean, obviously I would always go for the hybrid just because I like to have the option to play it in handheld mode if I ever want to, even though I never do. It's just good to have the option too. And I think that is what's going to keep Nintendo like doing the hybrid thing for the rest of the time, possibly. Like the article says, it's hard to see Nintendo ever going back to a dedicated home console or a dedicated handheld when this can do both, right? It definitely would feel like they're taking a step backwards. And I wonder if this is just going to be Nintendo's thing, the Switch, right? Maybe this will be what we see for the next couple generations. We see Switch 3, Switch 4, Switch 5, you know, PlayStation's all the way up to 5. Going on 6 soon, but yeah, it stings a little bit just seeing how different each of the other, you know, Nintendo generations have been, how different each of the controllers have been. Every time they bring up a new generation or go to a new generation, it always wows us, right? There's always that wow factor that blows our minds. Nintendo is used to just like innovating. But this is the first time they're playing it really safe and just kind of doing the same thing, but just upgrading it. But they kind of have to if they want to keep that arrow on their graph just going up. Yeah, that's why I'm very mixed. There's a lot of people saying it's underwhelming. This reveal was underwhelming. They kind of feel like they're just doing what Apple does, right? Kind of selling us the same thing. But again, to me, it comes down to the games, right? I'm not going to be too upset if they can deliver high quality games, which they usually do. Nintendo's first party games are usually bangers. They put a lot of effort into them. So I feel like that's what's going to win me over in the end. The Mario Kart game that they showed already looks really good. We're going to talk more about the Mario Kart game as we keep going. But let's finish this article. The article might talk about Mario Kart as well. Nintendo's teaser video confirms that Switch 2 looks like a bigger, sleeker device, complete with a dock and removable Joy-Con. Accessory makers have already started showing off grips and cases for the Switch 2. D-brand makers of the Dark Plates 2.0 for the PlayStation 5 has announced a new Kill Switch 2 case with no details beyond a render and a message, Switch 2 Kill Switch. Satisfy put up a Zen Grip 2 accessory trailer late last year, immediately took it down, and has a product page. At CES 2025, manufacturer Genki also showed off Switch 2 accessories. Yeah, I think Genki, if I'm saying that right, was the company that actually spoiled or leaked how the Switch 2 would look, I think. What are the Switch 2 specs? We don't know anything concrete about the internals of the Switch 2, but if any supposed hardware leaks are accurate, it's significantly more powerful than its predecessor. This doesn't mean it will be as powerful as the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, and not even close to the PS5 Pro. Yeah, I don't think it'll be as powerful as the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, to be honest. It'll definitely just be an upgrade from the Switch, but I don't think it's reaching those levels. I don't think it's possible to reach those levels. You see how big the PS5 is, right? And you see how big the Xbox Series X is. Like, there's no way a handheld system, a hybrid system, can keep up with that. I mean, I feel like, unless chips and stuff are just getting smaller, but I feel like Nintendo will have to eventually, if they want to ever get their graphics to that point, they will have to actually develop like a stronger system, which will be bigger. And we'll probably see them going back to a home console maybe if they want to compete in the graphics department with PlayStation and Xbox. But Nintendo's not about the graphics, right? They make their games look good with the art style they use. That's kind of always been their thing. Even though the Switch's graphics are very limited, they always look good. They make it work with all the different art styles they use. According to Brazilian Pokemon leaker Central Leaks, the user on Fami boards who poked through shipping records last year, the Switch 2 will have 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage. I don't even know what that means. That's a big jump over the current system's 4 gigabyte and 64 gigabytes. Central Leaks also claims that the new Switch will have an 8-inch screen, which matches the teaser video showing the Switch's body growing to become the Switch 2. Another spec sheet leak earlier last year says the new Switch will have an ARM Cortez. I don't even know. I don't know much about these processors and stuff, so me reading this paragraph is not really going to do anything for me. The system, I'm going to skip that paragraph, go to the next. The system will have more power than its predecessor, that's for sure. However, that may mean it's comparable with a Steam Deck, PlayStation 4 Pro, or an Xbox One X, capable of 4K output. It may even use DLSS to punch above its weight class in frame generation. Nintendo isn't telling anyone yet, and none of the leaked details fit together. We'll definitely start hearing more about that, like after their Nintendo Direct. Once people start getting their hands on it, right, at those experience events, you know, those are going to be questions brought up by interviewers, and we'll probably get answers around that time for like how powerful this thing actually is. Image leaks from September 2025 were accompanied by a spec rundown that mentioned that the Switch 2 will house 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, which aligns with previous leaks. There haven't been many more spec leaks since then, and none that debunk those numbers. Okay. Here we go. We see the Mario Kart 8. Switch 2 games. What should you expect? A new Mario Kart is a sure thing because it's the only game Nintendo spotlighted in the trailer. The track doesn't seem to be any of the 96 tracks in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's crazy. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 96 tracks. I didn't even know it had that many tracks. I know it had a lot, but almost 100? That's crazy. And the character and card designs also appear different. Also, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was an upgrade version of the Wii U game, and Nintendo launching a system by highlighting a remake now 2 generations removed from its original version would be very strange. Yeah. That's crazy to also think that Mario Kart 8 came out 2 generations ago. When did that game come out? Almost 10 years ago, right? Was it like 2014? Let's look it up. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Wii U launch date. Yeah. Wow. More than 10 years. May 29th, 2014. Mario Kart 8 came out for the Wii U. So we've been playing the same Mario Kart game for over 10 years. A whole decade. I mean, obviously not the same completely, because we obviously got booster pass course, right? Or what was it called? The booster course DLC, which gave us a bunch of new stages. They added new characters. So they kind of kept the game fresh throughout the years. But it's still crazy to think that the actual core of the game was developed over 10 years ago. Like before the Switch was even out. It was on the Wii U. So it's actually very refreshing to see a new Mario Kart. And they are changing a lot. The art style is different for sure. If you actually like zoom in to like the characters and stuff and the models, you can see some of the characters are different. Like Donkey Kong is different. He kind of looks more retro-y. Kind of looks more like the movie Donkey Kong that we saw from the Mario Bros movie. Mario also looks different. He looks more round and cute and like short and chubby. He looks more like Super Mario Bros. Wonder Mario, where he's a little bit more expressive too. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing like a redesign, because I think the standard Mario art is starting to get kind of bland and boring. I really enjoyed Wonder because of the new animations and the new art style they brought to Mario. Because a lot of Mario games, 3D or 2D, have started to look kind of similar and very bland. And it's kind of refreshing to see Mario with a new art style. So I'm really hoping they change things up. Add a little pizzazz to the art style when it comes to Mario games moving forward. Because a lot of it just looks very similar. And like in those games, Mario isn't very expressive. We've kind of been in a dry period up until Wonder when it comes to like the Mario games, both 2D and 3D. Now, they're still good games. It's just art direction could be better. That's why I don't even buy the Mario calendars. I would love to buy a Mario calendar and put it up, but the art is just so boring and generic to look at that I'm like, do not want to look at this all year long because it's just boring. Do something more creative, and I will buy a calendar. So I actually ended up buying a Disneyland calendar this year, and I had a Disney one last year as well. But if they want me to start buying some Mario art, they need to start putting some effort into the Mario art. And I think this is going in the right direction. Let's see. Did we read all of this? Yeah. The upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA will also definitely be a Switch 2 game, too. It isn't a new Pokemon generation, but a sequel of some form to the side game Pokemon Legends Arceus, which along with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet suffered performance issues on the current Switch. More power will hopefully mean better frame rates and more consistent gameplay. So this is just saying it will most definitely be a Switch 2 game. I know it's confirmed to be a Switch game. This could be one of those hybrid games. I think we might see a lot of hybrid games going into the Switch 2. We saw a lot of hybrid games, or not hybrid games, or games on they're called multi-platform games. We saw a lot of multi-platform games when it came to the PS4 and the PS5, right? With the Switch, we didn't really get that. We just got Breath of the Wild. I think that was the only game that was like a cross-platform game. I think with the Switch 2, we're possibly looking at multiple cross-platform games where we could get Metroid Prime 4. That's confirmed for Switch, right? I think we're definitely going to probably get Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 2. We could get Pokemon Legends ZA on the Switch and the Switch 2. Hopefully there's a new 3D Mario game coming. It'd be cool if they make that cross-platform too, right? But I feel like they're not going to do it with every single game just because they need to sell the Switch 2. Because if they bring everything that's coming out this year to Switch 2, you know what's going to happen? People are not going to buy the Switch 2. They're just going to buy the regular Switch because they're like, all these games are coming to Switch, right? So what's the point of me getting a Switch 2? And I think PlayStation 5 kind of felt that too a little bit, where Miles Morales and God of War Ragnarok and some of these other games also came out for PlayStation 4. I think Ragnarok came out for PS4. I could be wrong about that, but I know there was multiple games that came out for both PS4 and PS5, and a lot of people were just playing their games on PS4s because they didn't have PS5s. What's up, Chris? How are you? You said I really want Chick-fil-A. Hope you get your Chick-fil-A, Chris. Hello, what's up, King Chi World? Hello. Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to the stream. We're just talking. I'm just shooting the breeze, talking about the Switch 2. We're actually reading an article right now, posted by PC Mag. It's almost certain that the Switch 2 will get new Kirby, Mario, Zelda games, though whether any of them will be launched with the system remains to be seen. Metroid Prime 4 is also a strong pick for the Switch 2. Yeah, that's what I just said. And making the game for the new hardware could partly explain its laboriously long development time. Here we see the difference between the two, the size. Plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. And then it says certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with the Switch 2. So, at first I was confused, but after looking into it more, it seems like this is referring to games that use Nintendo Switch accessories that won't be compatible with like the Switch 2. So we're talking about games like maybe Ring Fit Adventure, Switch Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports, because it has like that the leg thing for you to play soccer with, maybe. And then obviously Labo. Labo's another one. The one, if you guys remember, was that cardboard thing where you had to build things out of cardboard and play games using the cardboard. Like, it's those gimmicky type of games that might not be playable. Maybe 1-2 Switch might not be playable either. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like which games get cut. But I think it's a lot of those gimmicky games that people are not going to miss as much. But it is good that they said that it's compatible with both physical and digital games as well, right? Which means the Nintendo eShop is going to be back. And hopefully we can still buy digital games for our Switch, right? Off the eShop. Or if you have physical games laying around, you can use that. They even have a picture of the cartridge there for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. You can put that into your Switch 2. But yeah, like, anyway, the eShop will be back, which means they're probably just going to move, like, the Nintendo Switch Online stuff over, which is good. Because I know that was a concern people had as well. Like, what's going to happen with the Switch Online for, like, the retro games? Like, the NES and the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64. I think all of that is tied to your account. And once you log into your account on the Switch 2... you may just be able to go into the eShop and you could probably just download all of those apps again. And then just have the library of the Nintendo Switch Online games on your Switch 2. I don't think that's going anywhere. And then the eShop will also have Nintendo Switch games that you can digitally buy and put onto your Switch 2. Along with, obviously, Switch 2 games, right? I am curious to see what the cartridges look like for the Switch 2. Obviously, it can't be the same as the Nintendo Switch, right? Because then you might be able to put it into the old Switch. I don't think Nintendo wants that. I feel like they might make it slightly bigger so you can't fit it into an old Switch. But they're going to design it in a way where you could still slip in the Nintendo Switch cartridge into the Switch 2. It would just have some space on the side, possibly. And you can also maybe put in, and then you can put in the Switch 2 cartridge as well, obviously. They're probably going to design it in a way where, oh, I'm sorry, I'm coughing. They're going to design it in a way where the Switch cartridge goes in there and the Switch 2 cartridge goes in there, but then the Switch 2 cartridge maybe doesn't go into the regular Switch. King Chi World, you said how much for Nintendo Switch 2? No price confirmed yet, but I'm gonna guess 400. If I was to just put out a guess, I think 400. I don't think Nintendo wants to go too high with this thing because, again, economy sucks, right? A lot of people's like wallets are tight, money is tight. I don't think they're gonna go too high. 400 is still more than what the Switch and the Switch OLED go for. And it's still competitive, right? It's still cheaper than PlayStation 5, which is at $500, right? PlayStation Pro's at what, 700, something ridiculous. But yeah, I think 400, we could see it at 400. I think that's a good price where it's still affordable for most people, but it isn't like too high where some people will be like, I can't get that, right? And we're probably going to see official price raise for games as well, I think, going into the Nintendo Switch 2. We already kind of saw them experiment with that a little bit with the Switch, with Tears of the Kingdom, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which was like the first game they sold for $70 instead of $60. But I could see the standard price going up to $70, kind of how like PlayStation has done already with their PS5 games, right? For their first party PS5 games, a lot of them start off at $70. I could see Nintendo Switch 2 games starting at $70. I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but I feel like that's going to be a thing. It's going to take me 2 Christmas money and 2 birthday monies to get up to a Switch 2. How old are you, King Chi World? I don't want to put you on spot, but if you want to share your age, feel free to share your age, because I'm curious. You seem like you're relying on Christmas money and birthday money, which gives me an idea that you're probably like a teenager or a kid. And you don't have a job yet. But yeah, like for kids that have to like raise money to get this, it'll probably take them a while, for sure. If you're relying on just allowances and birthday money, I mean, maybe you could go out and like mow some lawns or do some chores or do something like with your neighbors or whatnot to kind of make some money. I know like in this area, I don't think people do it anymore, but like back in the day, people, when it would snow, you would go out and shovel other people's driveways for money. During the summer, you would go cut grass, right, to make some money. You do these type of manual labor jobs as kids around your neighborhood to try to make quick money. And that's like sort of like money that you can have outside of your allowance and your like birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. You said you're a teenager? Yeah. I'm going to start when I'm 14. You're going to start working when you're 14? Or you're gonna start grinding the neighborhood hustle when you're 14. Because in the U.S., I don't think we can start working until we're like 16. I think you get your working papers at 16 in the U.S., so you can start working at 16. But I don't think you can work if you're 15 or below in the United States. I don't know how it is in other countries. But you said you're 13 right now. Nice to know. That's crazy though, because I'm literally 20 years older than you. That makes me feel old, because I'm 33. You're 13. Wow. That's crazy too. Now I'm looking at your age, and I'm looking at when the Switch came out, which was almost 8 years ago, right? At this point, is it 8 years? Yeah, 8 years. In 2 months, or like less than 2 months, it's gonna be 8 years with the Nintendo Switch. So you were only 5 when the Switch came out. That's crazy to think about. And I was 25 when the Switch came out. That's still crazy too. I was right in the middle of my 20s when the Switch came out, and now I'm almost in the middle of my 30s. That's crazy. It's like almost a decade, right, has gone by between console generations. You said you can at 14, but like fast food and small things. Oh, okay. So things have changed then, because I think back when I was in high school, I think 16, they were always telling us 16 was the age. But unless things have changed, like it has been a long time. I graduated high school in 2010, so that's like 14 years ago. Like this year, it's going to be 15 years since I graduated high school. So a lot of things can change during that time as well. But that's awesome. So you'll be able to start working and making some money. I remember my first job was working Popeyes, fast food. I did Popeyes for like a month. And then I switched to Burger King because I wasn't getting enough hours at Popeyes. They only had me work like one day out of the week, and I wanted to kind of work more. So I switched to Burger King. I was able to work like weekends, 8 hours. I was working like 16 hours on the weekends, making that money. And I remember buying my first video game. It was New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii. This was like in the year 2009. New Super Mario Bros. Wii had come out. And there was a game store in walking distance from the Burger King, Game Crazy and Hollywood Video. I don't know if any of you guys remember those. You guys might be too young to remember those, but it was like a connected store. It was a movie store connected to a game store, Game Crazy and Hollywood Video. So I would go to Game Crazy. I would walk like after work to Game Crazy, and I remember buying my first video game with my own money that I worked for, and it was New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii. I was super excited, I was super hyped, and I was like, oh my god, the case is red, right? Because up until that point, all the Wii game cases were like just white, so it was like the first time Nintendo put out a red case. I remember I was so hyped, but that's a memory that I will cherish forever, because it's the first time I spent my own hard-earned money that wasn't like given to me from birthdays or holidays or anything like that. And it was the first game I bought with my own money that I worked for. So that game has a special place in my heart for sure. You said I live near a Burger King, so maybe I'll work there. Yeah, go ahead. You got to get your foot into the door, start getting that experience, right? I still learn stuff from those jobs. You learn how to be around other people. You learn how to manage time, how to delegate tasks and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot that comes with it. And especially good for teenagers to be in those type of jobs. And it just shows you the it teaches you like work ethic. It teaches you not everything is given to free, and it really motivates you, right? Because it's kind of like a look at reality. Like, if you don't end up getting like good grades in college and like high school, like this could be just your job for the rest of your life. And I'm sure most people don't want to be stuck at a fast food place for their entire life. So it's kind of like the job itself is not that great, but the people you're around usually are good, so that kind of makes up for it. But it kind of is like a reality check where it's like you start working in a fast food place and you're like, I don't want to be stuck here forever. So you work It kind of gives you that kick that you need to do better in school, to do better in college. Because I was working at Burger King for a while. I worked Burger King like when I was in high school, my senior year of high school. And I also worked during my community college years when I was a community college student. So it was really like a motivating factor, right? I was making money, but I was not making that much money. And I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to actually get out of here and find something that is more for me, something more professional, something that I actually like doing. So that gave me the drive to do well. And here we are. I'm a teacher now, and I enjoy it. I like my job. Even though it is a stressful job at times, it might not be the most glamorous job, but I still like where I am. And I'm pretty happy to have teaching be my career, my job. And now I'm at a point where I can buy whatever video game I want. That's also great too, right? All right, let's finish up this article. We're almost at an hour. We're going to be ending it soon. Will the Switch 2 play old Switch games? Yes. That's one of the few hard details Nintendo confirmed about the Switch 2. Even before it was officially announced, the teaser trailer double confirms this, explicitly stating that it plays both Switch 2 and original Switch games in digital and physical formats. Not every game will be compatible, but hopefully the exceptions will be few and far between. As for software, Nintendo confirmed earlier that it's retaining the Switch's Nintendo account system, okay, which should preserve digital game purchases across generations. Oh, that is awesome. I didn't know that. So that, I mean, it lines up with what I was saying before too, that your Nintendo account will just be tied to it, and you can just kind of bring over your your like Switch Online games and stuff. But that makes sense for people that have digital games. They won't have to lose those games. Those would just come over as well. You would just have to reinstall them probably. Presumably this means you can download OG Switch titles. Although Nintendo's history with hardware-based backwards compatibility is strong, its digital backwards compatibility is not. It's difficult to track purchases between systems. He said, might try help my parents pay the taxes. Oh, okay. Nice. You're gonna try to help pay your parents' taxes? With like getting a job? Genghis Khan, welcome to the stream. He said college is overrated. Yeah, it is. Nowadays, college is definitely overrated. It's definitely something not a lot of people need to do anymore. There was definitely more emphasis on it back in the day. But now with the internet, you can just make a career out of anything, right? You could just go on YouTube. You could become a Twitch streamer. You could open an Etsy shop and sell stuff from your house, from your basement. There's so many possibilities. But yeah, in the year 2025, I 100% agree with you. College is definitely overrated. And honestly, I would probably not recommend college to people like nowadays, right? Unless you're going there for a particular career. Like if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, right? There's certain fields where you do have to be a teacher and get a degree because they still do look for the paper. But there's a lot of opportunity out there where you don't need a degree anymore. So it all comes down to your, like, what you're looking to do in life, right? If you want to be a teacher even, you have to go to college because you need at least a bachelor's degree to be a teacher, right? So you need that piece of paper. If you need that piece of paper, you got to go to college. If there's something you want to do that doesn't require that piece of paper, then you don't have to go to college. And you could be well off. There's so many people out there that have never gone to college, and they're making so much more money than people that went to college. And those people are paying back their colleges because they took out loans and whatnot. So, yeah, you got to be smart. I love Nintendo Switch 2. Zidkins, welcome to the stream. And you're asking Genghis Khan if they love the Switch 2. You said I trade for a living and there's no degree for that anywhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some things that you can't even get a degree for, right? You said Switch 2 seems underwhelming. Yeah. That's a opinion I've been seeing a lot as well. And I'm mixed as well when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. Because it's not as innovating as previous jumps from console generation to console generation. A lot of it is just the same as the Switch. What will the Switch 2 cost? Nintendo clarified that it doesn't want to directly compete with Microsoft or Sony in power or price. Currently, the base Switch costs $300. The handheld only Switch Lite costs $200. Switch OLED is $350. A known leaker going by Moisty Charlie stated that the new Switch will cost $400. Yeah, that's what I said. This price could increase if tariffs are enacted for consumer electronics this year, but $400 seems reasonable for now. Yeah, $400 seems like the safest bet. It's higher than what they're selling the Switch for, but it's still cheaper than the competition. It's at a price point where most people will be willing to pay that much for it. I feel like if they went up to 450, 500, that's when you kind of get into the territory of people going, is this really worth it, or should I just get a PS5, right? But at 400, it's still like $100 cheaper than the PS5. So you could definitely see some people like just getting the Switch 2 without a second thought when trying to like compare it to its competition. Of course, this is all speculation until Nintendo confirms more details about the new Switch. What do you want to see in it? Let us know in the comments below. This article was written by Will Greenwald, lead analyst, consumer electronics. And this was on PC Mag. So just kind of going over a brief overview. So they didn't really dive too much into the Mario Kart game here. But yeah. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Oh, gotta go. King Chi, take care. Thanks for stopping by. I think it's going backwards if it's not OLED either. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, we don't know for sure. It does have a bezel, right? Does the OLED one have a bezel? I can't remember. Or maybe it's very thin. They haven't really talked about specs yet. Genghis. Or is it Genghis? Genghis Khan. I may just call you Khan just to make it easy. But Khan, like, I don't think they've really gone into details about like specs. So maybe it does have one and they're just not telling us yet. I mean, is that something we could tell just by looking at it, if it has an OLED screen or not? Again, but that is a good point that you bring up, that it is kind of a step backwards if it doesn't have an OLED. Like, I feel like it should have everything the OLED Switch has and then add upon that, right? Alright, let's switch on back over to Nintendo's website. I'm going to pause the music from my Spotify real quick. I'm going to dive into the trailer one more time. We're just going to take another look at it. I did do a live reaction on my channel for this, but we're going to just take a look at it again. I haven't watched this since yesterday. But yeah, like, this is the standard Switch that has the bezels on the side. And that's the screen. Hold up, let's back up and take a look at that. So it got bigger, but definitely you can see it still has a bezel. Definitely wider bezels on the side than the top. I'm not sure what the OLED looked like. The OLED, I'm not sure if it still has a bezel or not. Maybe I should look at an OLED example. Nintendo Switch OLED screen. Images. This is it right here. I mean, it still has a bezel. It's just a less of a bezel. This is what the screen looks like when it's on. Oh, here's a comparison. I mean, it's definitely bigger than the Switch. The Switch 2 is going to be bigger than the Switch. So the screen will definitely still be like around this size or bigger, even if it has a bezel. they're comparing it to the standard Switch, so it's probably not OLED. Oh, okay. That is a good observation. You're right. Yeah, because then they would have brought an OLED here, right? They would have transformed it from an OLED to the Switch 2 and not the regular Switch. Okay. I mean, we'll say it doesn't have an OLED until Nintendo says something. Or what if, you know, Nintendo, they might do a Switch 2 OLED, right? Maybe their plan is to just do a OLED version in the future, which would kind of be scummy, because then they'll probably charge more for it. They might do $450 for that, right? If they're charging $400 for a standard Switch 2, they might do $450 for Switch 2 OLED. And then a Switch 2 Lite might be a thing as well in the future, like they did the Nintendo Switch Lite. And this is another thing too. The US, is this USB-C, right? This is on the top, I think, right? Because before it used to be on the bottom. I don't think it's at the top of the Switch. I have my Switch right here. It doesn't look like it's at the top. We have the volume slider, or the buttons. And we have the micro... Oh, does this still have a headphone jack? Because the Switch has a headphone jack at the top. I don't know if it has a headphone jack. Please tell me it's still there. So they have the volume, the power. What is this? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Okay, yeah, headphone jack is still there. Confirmed. Let's go. We're not going down the iPhone route with no headphones jack. What is this? This is still the bottom, or is this a... No, this is the top, right? Or was that the bottom we saw first? I'm so confused. Maybe this is the top that we're seeing, but if this is the top, it has a USB-C at the top too. So it's at the top and bottom. There's definitely one at the bottom because that's where you need to dock it into. But now there's possibly a second one at the top, it looks like. You said there... Okay, you already read that. All right. And then here, we see the stand. Oh, wait, right here, we actually got to look right here. So this is the slot for the game. You put the game in here. Then you have the headphone jack, USB-C at the top, which the Switch doesn't have. And then your volume rocker over here, buttons. And then there's also a USB-C, I think, at the bottom. So there's two of them on it now, instead of one. Stand definitely looks good. Much better than the standard Switch, which just had the little stand on the side. I think the OLED had a better stand, right, where the whole back could kind of come out. This is kind of going with that, but a little bit more cleaner, where the whole half back doesn't come out. It's just a nice little kind of like U shape that comes out. It looks very stable. And seems very flexible too. Like you could push it down so much further than I think the other stands would allow. I actually don't know much about the OLED kickstand. I just know you couldn't get this angle with the original Switch with its little kickstand that it came with on the back. So you can kind of lay this down a lot more if you need to. And the Joy-Cons, they get a remake. They're bigger, which is also good. The bigger Joy-Cons, I know a lot of people complained about Joy-Cons because they were too small. So hopefully this fixes that problem and they're a lot more comfortable for people to hold when playing. The inverted colors, I do like the way this looks. I like the kind of like muted, creamy vibes I'm getting. It's not the same blue. It's not neon, right? It's like the opposite of neon. Almost. Buttons look bigger. Hopefully Joy-Con drift isn't a thing. It's funny that they showed the Joy-Con spinning for the blue one, which was like the one that always had the Joy-Con drift, the one that was on the left side of your Switch. It's funny that they made that one spin around its Joy-Con. I mean the stick. So hopefully Joy-Con drift isn't a thing. Hopefully Nintendo learned from the first Switch, and they don't have to deal with that with the Switch 2. Here is the mouse feature, where you could kind of like put it down and take it for a spin. And I feel like there's going to be games that might require us to put these on a table and move them around for some type of maybe mini games, or maybe there's some games that just are fully built with this as the play style. I don't know. This is a feature that I'm very intrigued by, and it's one of the things that seems new, right? Where a lot of other stuff just looks the same. This is one of those things that gets me a little bit more excited just because it looks like they're innovating a little bit here. Hopefully this is actually a thing where we could play a game like this and this isn't just them showing off the wrist straps. Because, I don't know. Again, that's kind of the downsides of not having any humans like in this trailer actually using it, because then we would get an idea of what the play style would be for the Switch 2. But yeah, it looks like you put these onto the wrist straps. They probably click on this time or snap on instead of sliding, because they're getting rid of the whole sliding feature for the Joy-Cons. They're going to snap in instead. But yeah, you can see the wrist straps there. And then of course the snap. This is also interesting. They kind of have like a little chip thing. That's what's going to go in. So you kind of have to line it up perfectly. I know some people were saying that this might be a problem where this, what if this snaps off or breaks? I mean, hopefully it's durable enough so that never happens, but I could definitely see someone dealing with that as an issue where this part breaks off. Yep. And it's also it's in there. Like, you got protection on the side right here. So I don't think that'll probably happen. But I still can't tell if this is magnetic. You know, the leak said that it was magnetic. It doesn't seem magnetic. It just seems like you would just put this part into whatever the part is over here, and they might be just clicked together. And there's definitely a button that you have to push to like unlock it. I don't think it's magnetic. Nintendo didn't say anything officially about it being magnetic, so we might just have to wait till the Direct in April to see what they say. We'll probably get full confirmation as to whether it is magnetic or not magnetic in April. Zidkins, you said, should have been called the Nintendo Snap. Wow. That actually is a creative name. Nintendo Snap. It kind of keeps the S theme, right, from Switch. Wow. Yeah. I just think they didn't do that because it's very similar to the Switch. And they want to just market this as the next Switch. The Switch that's going to replace your first Switch. The Switch 2. Nintendo Snap could have worked. But I just feel like some people wouldn't get it. And they probably have a harder time selling it. And then here it is. The snaps right here. Boom. 2. And then they go into the game, Mario Kart. Looks good. I'm going to be doing like a whole video. I might do a separate video just talking about Mario Kart and the stuff they showed off here. Or I might do a little short where I talk about like some of the things I like about the Mario Kart gameplay that they showed. But it looks very fun. 2025 is coming out this year. Again, we've talked about all this stuff. Super excited for April. April 2nd. And then the experience. I think registration's open today for this. So I think you probably already had to start registering. I think they opened today and they're going to be open until like the 26th of January. So in between from now till the 26th, you can try to sign up for this Nintendo Switch 2 experience hands-on event. I think it's through a like lottery system, like a raffle. So it's not like first come, first serve. I think you just register within that window and then they'll do a lottery system to see if you get picked or not to be able to go to it, because obviously not everybody can go because of limited space. But that is cool that they're offering this. I don't think I'm going to do this just because I don't like crowds. I'm very introverted. I don't like being in big crowds surrounded by people, especially like at an event like this where so many people are going to be there. You're probably only going to have limited time with it as well. You're going to have you on like a timer, or the games that you play will be like demo games where they have like a 5-minute timer. So once you're done, you're done. You just have a quick little time with it. I think I'm more excited about just watching videos and content that comes out from content creators around that time where they're experiencing it and just learning about it like indirectly through them by watching a lot of gameplay and videos of other people playing the Switch 2 and getting that hands-on experience with it. But this is available if you live near New York or near LA or in Dallas. I think those are the 3 places in the US that they're offering this. You don't have to live near it. You can always book a flight and fly out to those places if you're really crazy about it. But New York one would work for me. It's close to me. I live in New Jersey. But I think I'm going to pass. It'll be kind of more fun, I feel like, to get my hands on it myself for the first time at home after launch. And then like going through it for the first time and then experiencing it for the first time at home in the comfort of my home, rather than out in New York City surrounded by a bunch of people and you're being timed. Cool name, yeah. The reveal seems rushed and a reaction to the leaks. Yeah, definitely. You know, other people were basically revealing the Switch 2 at this point. And I definitely feel like this was early, because I wasn't expecting anything until like February, because Nintendo is used to doing a Nintendo Direct in February for past couple years now. So this definitely seems like, oh, people are already talking about it. Let's put this out there and shut them up so they don't talk about it more and put more information out there before we can. So I 100% agree with you, Khan, about that. And then Zidkins, you just said, are you going to the Switch 2 experience? I'm sorry, I'm probably reading your comment late. But no, I'm not going to it. I will experience it through my computer screen, watching other people. And then I want to experience the Switch 2 for the first time. You know, after I buy it, come home, take my time, and maybe make a video out of it as well. That's going to be my take. But yeah, let's actually switch back out of this now. Let's go back. I've kind of streamed longer than I would have. All right, thank you guys for stopping by today. That was just my little discussion stream. We're almost at an hour 20. I was planning for this stream to just be an hour, but I guess I just went on a rant and started talking about a bunch of stuff. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about the Switch 2. I know Khan said he's underwhelmed with it. I know a lot of people have different opinions about it. I have mixed feelings. I am excited and hyped because of the new games, obviously, right? And because it's going to have more power behind it. I want my games to run smoother. There was definitely games on the Nintendo Switch that you could tell weren't running properly. Like, there were frame dips and bugs and glitches, such as Princess Peach Showtime, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were buggy at launch, right? I didn't even get Scarlet and Violet just because of how bad they were when it came to the bugs and the glitches. So I'm looking forward to like those problems hopefully being solved, where we don't have to deal with glitchy games and bad frame rates. Even Pokemon Legends Arceus didn't look the best, right? At times you could definitely see the game was chugging along and it was struggling to run. So I'm hoping games just run smoother. They look better. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for the new games, the new 3D Mario, the new Mario Kart, the next Zelda game that's eventually going to come. I'm excited for all of that stuff, but it is underwhelming because a lot of it is just the same, right? This could have just been a Pro Nintendo Switch instead of a Switch 2. This should have just been the Pro version, kind of like what PlayStation did. They have the Pro PlayStation 5. This could have just been the Pro Nintendo Switch instead of its own separate thing. There definitely isn't as much innovation here. They played it very safe, kept it very similar to the Switch. They're trying to appeal to the people that already have Switches. And yeah, as like a hardcore Nintendo fan, it is kind of tough to like sit through that because you're just not used to it. Because Nintendo has never not innovated the way they're doing right now. They've always wowed us and blew our minds with like a new controller or a new play style, a new experience with every single new system they put out. And this is the first time where they're kind of like, no, we're going to kind of stick to what's working for us, and we're just going to try to upgrade it slightly, and here's more games for it. You said hopefully Nintendo does something about leaking, since now we all know that all the leaks coming out will be true. Yeah, definitely. There's not much you can do. We live in the age of the internet. Leaks are just going to happen. It's just, they gotta be careful about like who they're talking to or what they're putting out. I mean, it's hard because they're a company that works with a bunch of other companies, right, to make accessories and stuff. So you're gonna have to like put out your secrets to these other companies. You just have to trust that those companies are not going to like leak it out. And there should be some type of punishment for that if they're really like worried about it or concerned about it or don't like that happening. Like, oh, you leaked the Switch 2, well, guess what, after this project you're not doing anything with us anymore, we're cutting ties with you. Like, they have to be that strict so people learn not to like leak stuff or be very careful. But it's gonna happen. It's the age of the internet. Once something comes out, it spreads like wildfire. It's just the age we live in. And you're welcome, Con. I see you. You said thanks. You're welcome. Again, guys, make sure you guys like this video. It definitely helps the channel out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo Switch 2 content. I'm going to be making some shorts that I'm going to be posting, talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, talking about Mario Kart. I might do a video also on Mario Kart. We'll see how much I have to talk about it. I'm hoping I could just do a couple shorts on Mario Kart, but we'll see if I make a video or not. I am talking a lot and I need more water. But yeah, I am very hyped. Looking forward to the April 2nd Nintendo Direct. I am most likely going to take off of work that day. It's on a Wednesday. I'm probably going to take off and do a live reaction and everything from home, like while it's happening, instead of having to work and then go dark and then come back home and then do a live reaction. Because a lot of times I'll get spoiled. Like as soon as I go onto YouTube, Nintendo stuff is all over my feed, so I'll definitely see something and get spoiled. Or I might accidentally go on Instagram or Facebook and I'll accidentally see something, because Nintendo stuff is like on all of my social media stuff. So I think the safest thing for me to do is to just take like a personal day on April 2nd, which is a Wednesday, and sit here and do like a live reaction to the Nintendo Switch 2 like official direct, or whatever they're going to call it. I think it's called just the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and we might actually do that live. It won't be a video that I pre-record of me like reacting to it. I might do what we're doing right now, where we're live and I'll react to it live. So if you guys want to come and hang out and watch that with me, you guys are welcome to do so. And again, stay tuned to the channel for more Nintendo Switch 2 content. We are going to be starting our streams for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Again, Pokemon Legends ZA comes out later this year at some point. We are going to be starting our Pokemon Legends Arceus streams within the week. Sometime this week, either this weekend. If not this weekend, it'll definitely be in the upcoming week. So stay tuned to the channel for that. Stay tuned to the channel for more shorts. Stay tuned to the channel for more videos. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. It's been your bro, Super Bro Zulfi. Peace.